Well, it's extremely important in organisations such as ours. We have a very recent example that we worked through in our organisation last year. We have two groups of employees currently, and one group is the salary group of employees, the other group is the non-salaried, and those employees would be on salary scales, and they're predominantly based in the production group of employees or in the shared service centres, so customer service reps or tenders reps. We decided to do a review last year using an outsourced company to review the salary scales of our production group and our shared service centre group. How the scales work is there's different levels on each scale based on seniority, so you have an entry level, 12 month, 24 month and 36 month level for each of those groups. And every year we review the salary scales kind of towards the end of the year. And we make a decision as to whether those scales should be revised, increased, or maybe no increase at each point of the scales for each role. And we decided to engage with the third-party company last year to help us gain some information and evidence in relation to those scales before we would make those decisions in terms of increasing them or not. So they did a very comprehensive benchmark of the salary scales for each of those roles. They went to the external market and they compared our scales versus scales and salaries for similar roles in the similar industries, so in the med device or pharma industry, and they came back to us with very comprehensive feedback. That feedback then fed into, we would have had a number of meetings which included the finance department, the operations department, the shared service centre management group and HR as well. And we looked at some evidence, I suppose, that we would have gathered ourselves internally as well to help form the basis of our decision. So, for example, we looked at the entry level for each group on the scale. And we looked at, have we been having any difficulties in terms of attracting relevant and suitable applicants for each of those roles at an entry level? Was salary an issue in terms of attracting employees into those roles? And we felt that, that wasn't an issue, that we had a very good pool of suitable applicants coming through at entry level for all positions. And that kind of tied in then with the evidence that we got back from the salary survey that was conducted, because they felt that our entry levels were at a very competitive rate in the market for those roles. So based on, I suppose, both of those elements of information, we decided, look, we're not going to change the entry level for the salary scales based on that information. When we looked at the other points in the scale for the other roles then, for example, if we looked at the last level, the 36-month level for our manufacturing employees, the feedback that came back from the market, from the external company was, they're actually quite highly paid. They're in the upper quadrant in terms of payment. And we had also then again, we kind of linked that to some kind of, I suppose, evidence or research that we had done internally ourselves as well, where we had found that we had felt ourselves that maybe they were quite highly paid once they kind of reached the top level of the scale at the 36 month, because of that then led into possible issues in terms of moving into other roles internally, because it acted as a bit of a deterrent, because some of the other roles internally that they may be interested in applying for maybe had a lower salary, so that that kind of reduced their interest in applying for those other internal roles, which caused a bit of a problem internally for us, because it meant that our pool of interested and suitable applicants internally was being diminished because of that. I suppose based again then taking those kind of two elements of information together, both from the kind of external benchmark that was done and our own kind of internal review of the situation, we decided not to increase the upper level on that particular scale. The mid-levels we did decide to increase because it was felt when we looked at the external benchmark again that they were actually quite low. So we made the decision to increase those.